Hello, can you hear me? Make sure.
I can hear you.
Perfect, perfect. How you been? Let's see. Let me make sure I'm live. Quick. So I am live. So good morning, guys. Morning for some, afternoon for others. Sorry I have been here. I've been going back and forth looking at properties. Usually, a lot of people that I see the properties, it's usually around that time, 12-ish, during lunchtime. So I gotta be on the road at that time, and I just haven't had a chance to come live around that time frame. But again, I'm here today. I didn't have a walkthrough today. At this time, I do have to go pay off a loan today. I'll tell you guys about it. Let me just make sure that I'm live on my YouTube. Again, hope everybody is well. Hope everybody has had a great weekend. Again, I think the last time I was live was like 3 weeks ago. So hope everybody has had a great time frame as far as making money and closing deals. Let me just turn this on real quick. I was a little bit late. Okay, let's see real quick. So like the title says, I will talk about the first deal. Was 15K. So that deal, guys, came via, what's it called? I assign properties locally to a couple of guys here in the valley where I'm from, right? So one of the things that I've told them as far as that I do on the ones that I don't assign, the ones that I keep, is that I do owner finance. And I kind of told them the way that I do owner finance, that I always ask for a higher down payment than most people in our area do, because I have a lender background, and I know that people that give you a low down payment have higher propensity of defaulting. So I always ask for a big down payment, 25, 35, 45K down, because I know that once they give me that down payment, that's been almost 10 years worth of savings. My average income in my area is around 50K for a household. So you ask yourself, how long would it take this family to save 25, 35,000? That's probably like a 15, 20-year goal for them to save. That means they have to be diligent on a weekly basis when they get paid for 15 years. So when they give me this money, it's like they're giving me their whole life, basically. So when they transfer the money to me and they keep the house, now the house is going to be the goal that they've been hoarding for the last 15 years. So sure, there's a couple of investors locally. They do mainly flips. They had this property. They did an owner finance on the property, and they only asked, I think it was like 5K down. Now, knowing that 5K down, most people can walk away from 5K. It's nothing for them. They'll just walk away. It's just 5K. So sure enough, they were there for a year. Then COVID happened, and then, mind you, there's a correlation or a causation, mainly a correlation of people that have good savings to being good paying clients. In my history, when I was a lender, most clients, like if I can grew out of 100 clients, if the client had more than 10K in savings, I wouldn't have any issue, collecting their monthly payments when I was a lender. And sure enough, these guys, they took a small down payment, and the guys started defaulting. So they started defaulting, then COVID happened, and they were saying, oh, COVID happened, I don't have a job, whatever, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, mind you, I have deals that I have done before COVID, and God was there, and none of my deals defaulted. They were good paying clients, because again, initially my way of what's called getting good clients, back clients, was a bigger down payment and usually a high savings, and usually the down payment tells you there was a good savings. These people that I was owner financing to, they're not high earning clients, they're just been consistently saving. So this guy's buyer defaulted. This guy's buyer went through COVID. So they were saying that I can't pay because of COVID. Please help me out. That dragged on for almost 14 months until the point where, you know what, let me go ahead and ask for a foreclosure. Sure enough, they did a foreclosure on it and they kept the property back. So then they reached out to me, hey, do you have a buyer for this property? And I was telling them I might be a buyer if it's a good deal. The property is probably worth as is 179. They were asking 130. Now, I do have a couple of people that I work with that are partners with me that have FHA loans ready to match to a property. The way that we do it, we buy a property through FHA. They live there for a year, and then we owner finance that property out, so they can have a portfolio. And I'm telling you, we do one a year. By the time you retire, 60, 65, these are people that are either teachers, they work for the government, so they have their own income basically on salary, so they're fixed with that. But I tell them, hey, there's no reason for you not to own properties as you go down the road. Do it like that. Do an FHA, live there for a year, then owner finance it and do a wrap. So I asked them, hey, do this property, what's it called, fit FHA guidelines as far as inspections, etc. They're like, yeah, it should. So then I went to go see it. They had it for 130. I went to go see it. Now, between that and me going forward with an FHA loan, I have other what's it called, preferential buyers that buy for me as well. So I just shouted out, hey, I have a property 150. It's clean. The house, the good thing, when the guy was foreclosed on, he left the house real clean. So they foreclosed on him. He left the house real clean. They offered it to me. Again, they offered it to me. They didn't offer it to nobody else. They offered it to me. I told them, no, don't offer it to nobody. I'll buy this property. Either I'll buy this property or I'll find you somebody ASAP within 3 days. So sure enough, I know the value of the property. I know who I was sending. I was sending it to somebody that does the same thing as me. Buy it and then owner finance wrap it. So remind you, if you sell it to retail, you'll probably get 179. If you sell it via owner finance, you can probably sell it for like 219, because you're taking the risk as a lender, and that's what I do. I take the risk. I ask for a big down payment, and usually once I get a down payment, the ARV value matches how much they owe me on the note. So if I just bump it up 25K up, that's how much down payment I'm gonna get. So once the paper is said and done, the ARV matches the loan balance that I have. So I shouted out. I was in San Antonio this time when I got the property sent over to me, and sure enough, in a couple of days, I had a buyer 150. So me knowing my network, I said, oh, okay, go ahead. I asked them, hey, you have a 130. I just want a little bit of a discount so I can make a bigger discount. And he's like, yeah, what can you do? Can you do 122? I didn't want to buy, like, I know they didn't tell me about the story, but I kind of saw it. Once they sent me the property, I went through the, what's it called, the public records, and I saw what it was foreclosed. And then they told me, hey, this happened to us. But I already knew. So I know they bought it for 119, so they were not making that much of a spread. And then the last money when they foreclosed on it. So it's like 130, like, can you do 122? No, can you do 125? So we ended up being at 125. So then within a couple of days, I had the seller at 125, which are my friend investors, and I had a buyer at 150. Just by relationship and knowing with the value of the property, I made 25K within what's it called, within 3 or 4 days from getting the property. But the key word here is knowing the value of the property and how to move it fast. Knowing the history. As soon as I got the property, I did a research, so I know they needed to unload, because they don't want to have that property in their as a foreclosure. Because mind you, these people buy properties through a credit line. So if you have a credit line and the credit line shows a property that was foreclosed and you have it on your books, that guy he's not an institution, the credit line. It comes from a personal guy in our area. So they're like, well, I'm not gonna lend you no more, but you're messing up with these deals. I loan you 130 to buy it, and then you have to foreclose on it. So your underwriting might not be right. So sure enough, we'll probably close on this property on Wednesday of next week, and that'll be a 25K deal. Now, I do have to pay a fee for the buyer. The person that sells my deals was the person that got me that buyer at 150. So I'll pay her 10K. So I'll make 15K on that deal, not the 25K. But again, within 3 days, knowing people, they knew me, they knew that I'm a buyer, and they know that I have a bigger buyer circle. They sent me they gave me priority to me. I was able to get them a buyer in a couple of days, and then they'll probably get on out the books within next week. It'll be out of their books, and don't worry about what happened with the foreclosure. But yeah, a quick 15K deal, 25, but I'm giving her 10 because she did her job real quick as well. But yeah, that's the story of that one. Relationships, knowing the value. I didn't shoot it to my flip investors because my flip investors will want to get it at 130, even though the house is clean. I shot it over to my people that are doing the owner finance, the thing that I do, where I buy the property close to retail and then I owner finance it, but bump it up an extra 25K, 35K, depending on the value. So sure enough, we'll close on this property next Wednesday. And that's the deal that I was going to talk about, the first deal that I got when I was in San Antonio. Made a call. I got a text, sent a couple of texts. They agreed on price, send the contract, and then the kind of virtual, I sent it over to escrow in my area. So that's the deal for 15K, 25K, 10K will be given to the lady that found me the buyer right away. It'll be through a marketing. So I'll get the whole assignment fee and then I'll give her a marketing fee. So yeah, that's the 25K deal, a 25K deal that went 15 for me and 10 for her. So yeah, that's one of the deals I was going to talk to you guys about. It'll close probably next week. Now the other deal, do you have any questions as far as Tasha? I know you're here. I know people might be on Facebook. I don't have YouTube.
No, I don't have any questions.
Perfect. So then the next deal that I was talking about that I just closed on it last week. So again, I was talking to my sister about how when you buy real estate, like in life and everything, when you buy anything, you cannot try to, not coerce, not the right question, persuade somebody to go your way. So what I do when I buy property, especially this property, I went to go see the property. It was through a bandit sign. Again, mind you guys, I still put bandit signs. I've been slow a little bit for the last a month and a half. Mind you guys, I got hurt. I broke a rib, so I couldn't really raise my arms. So I'm doing better now. But so what I did, that lady called me on a bandit sign. I went to go see the property. It was a mobile home on a nice lot. And before I went, I knew they bought in the lot for $27,000. So it already had the lights, it already had the water, it was already connected, it was already cemented to the ground. So it's good. When you have a mobile home, you might pay $5K for the mobile home, but once you have it already set up, other amenities set up, it increases the value almost 5 times. So I went to go see the property. It is kind of rough, but it still makes sense. So I told her, ma'am, unfortunately on this deal, I got to be in the 30s, 35s, my max. She wanted to get back what she's made on monthly payments, which was around the $19,000 range. But I told her, ma'am, if you're not in a rush, again, you can just list it. Again, I would, if I was you, just list it with an agent and list it for $69,000, and then wait for somebody to come in and buy it. It might take a month, it might take 3 weeks, it might take 6 months. That's the only variable that most clients don't want. The untangible thing you can't touch. You can't see if it's going to be a buyer in 3 months, a buyer in 2 months, a buyer in 2 days, or a buyer in 6 months. So we ended up the call. Like, no, she didn't like my offer. It was $35,950 what I offered her. And she said, no, it doesn't work for me. Okay, perfect. But yeah, I'm selling. This property is clean. I know it'll probably sell for $69,000. Sell it. And she's like, okay. So then I left the house, and then sure enough, mind you, the strategy here was to push her away. Don't sell it to me at 35. Go list it with an agent. You'll get the most bang for your buck when you list it with an agent. I don't want the property at 35 because I know your situation. Go list it with an agent. 2-3 days go by. Her daughter texts me. So if you pay the $35,900, would you pay for all the closing? Like, yeah, I would pay all the closing. So sure enough, 3 days later, or 4 days later, 3 days later, they reached out to me. On the 4th day, I went to go sign it up for $35,900. Now, mind you, the issue with this one of the sellers, he's not in the country, so we had to get a notary public to do a mobile notary over there and transfer over here and all that. I already know because I've dealt with these clients before. I did deal with an unruly, not unruly, what's the word? Someone doesn't want to work with me as far as one of the person that owner financed a lot to them are big in my area. But they're not customer service friendly or customer friendly. but I was able to handle that. I know how to talk to people. I've dealt with multiple people in my history, as far as when I was a lender, getting payouts for houses, getting payouts for cars, getting payouts from other lending companies. So I know how to go around those hurdles. So we got this property. I got the payoff. We did a courtesy close. So she got, I think it was her net was like 8,000 something. The payout was like 27.1. Like literally what she borrowed, that's how much she owes. So she's getting $8,000. I gave her 3 to help her move out. I helped 5. She's gonna call me. She didn't call me yesterday. She was gonna call me today. Once she gets the extra 8, the deed was already recorded. It's already in my property as far as title. But once she calls me today, I'll go pay off the note. And then this property, the transaction, the lady that got me the buyer for that deal that I was telling you earlier for 15K, for 25K, which is 10 for her, took a buyer yesterday to that house, and like I was telling you, for 69,000. So if everything goes well on that property, I'm in it 35.9 on it. Let's say it sells for 69 minus, let's say 5 for her. Usually it's 5,000 what I pay her. 69 minus 35.9 minus 7. I'll probably be netting around 26 and 1 on this property, in this deal. Now this property, if I put an extra, let's say 5K on this house, I might be getting 101 or $99,000 for this house. Okay, it's a mobile home. It's 800 square feet. It's not that damaged. Just a couple of patches here and there for drywall, and then a couple texture paint the outside, listed for 99. There's nothing in my area that is cheap like that. It might not be the most beautiful remodel home, but it's cheap, and it's an individual standalone building. A lot of people in my area don't like to live in apartments. They'd rather pay a little bit more premium to have their own house, their own location. So if this property is said and done and closed, hopefully in about a few months, I'll be netting around 25,000, 26,000, depending on how much fees I get. Usually in my area, the escrow is around $700. The title is gonna be around. Usually on this one, we'll ask the buyer, since I'm giving priority to the buyers. When this lady I don't list it before that. If this lady doesn't find me a buyer, I'll list it and then wait for a buyer to come in. So again, that was the second deal that I was going to talk about. That was on Modesto. So again, that one came from a bandit sign. The strategy was a bandit sign. Be consistent on the bandit signs. I usually put around 25 a week. I've been slow because I got hurt, and I haven't put bandit signs. But I drive my area and I see them up. One of the things that I noticed, and I told this guys that are local, a year or 2 ago, there was tons of bandit signs. Like I counted like around things like 45 new wholesalers in my area. And that was like between the 2019, 2020, 2021. Now there's probably just me and another guy that's been putting. It's just the consistency. Because mind you this, again, with all this YouTube's exposure, a lot of people went into the business. But they thought, oh, look, it looks glamorous. Put a bandit sign, get a call, make 25K. You might get that the first time. You might make it work the first time. But then to make that consistent, you got to put the work. You got to put 25, again, for me, 25 bandit signs a week. You got to have multiple channels of marketing. I still have all my channels of marketing. And plus I added a C buyer, which I have like 4 deals lined up for C buyer. I haven't closed on those. I did close on that one where I made 39K that I showed you guys on the group. So again, all those channels of avenues of marketing that I have consistently put in there, it helps you weather the storm where this time buyers wanted to be at a lower price than before because of the economy, how everything's real expensive. But so see, they were what's the word called? Fair weather investors. Meaning that when everything's nice and on the uppity up, they are getting into the business. But when it crashes, they leave. It's like the stock investors from all this AMC and the Barnes and Nobles. And when it was going up in the crypto, they were all going into it. And that's usually when you're supposed to get out. When everybody knows about it, when your taxi driver is telling you that he's investing in crypto, that's when you need to leave. You need to leave the business because everybody knows about it. It's a balloon. It's about to pop. So sure enough, I told her, just be consistent. Like I told you guys, just be consistent, be consistent. Sure enough, they all left, and it's only me and another guy. And this other guy that I just saw it, he just started putting that kind of motivated. Hey, you got to go back and put signs. I got gotten hurt, so the strategy that I use for my bandit signs to stay up longer, they're real high. So when one of the movements that I gotta do is I gotta do this, and since I broke this rib on my left side, I couldn't do that. I even stopped working out for like a month, and I think it was 6 weeks. It was last Friday was 6 weeks once I got hurt. So yeah, bandit sign is consistent. So this lady came from a bandit sign. I pushed her away. I told her to go list it. I didn't lock it up there. She called me 3 days later. Would that work? Yes, I took it out now. It took longer because cash is fast. Like if the title is clean, the cash is fast. But if the title is dirty, that's not up to the buyer. You got to explain that to the seller. Man, your title is dirty. It has to go through this. So her title was dirty. Her title needed to get 2 releases. Not only just the loan that she owed, that property was in a pool loan on a $600,000 loan. So now you have to request a release a lien from the big loan to remove that property as collateral. So that's why I got involved, because they were telling the seller something and they were telling me something and they were telling the title company something else. So when I got involved, the lady got upset at me. The lady, the lending company for where the loan was at, got upset at me. Was like, as you're telling me the seller something, you're telling the title company something else, and you're telling me something else. So then she got upset. It's a long story. She got upset. She called her boss, and her boss talked to the title company and told him, hey, I want to deal with you and you only. Make sure Ace doesn't call me anymore. I don't want Ace to call my company anymore. So again, it happens, right? But that's her miscommunication, either willingly or unwillingly, caused me to call them directly. I don't like to get involved. I know I've done it before, but I don't want to get involved. But when you tell the client that you can't get this property, now the client's telling me that I don't want to close. I'm like, man, it's not me. They need to get this title, put this paperwork for you. But I was like, let me do an extra step and talk to them to see if I can get it resolved. It got resolved, but then and unfortunately, another property that we're buying is the same lender that I got to deal with. So you see, it happened to be the same lender that loan for that property that on Modesto that I bought. There's going to be the same one that I'm going to buy on Mabi. And those two, the Modesto came through a bandit signs and the Mabi came through the C buyer. So C buyer still works. I have it at 55. I have a buyer at 69. So it makes sense on that one. So that'll be the second one. That's the second one that is close to close. I closed that one for 39 on Mesquite, and then I'm gonna close this Mabi for, I think it was like 14,000. Everything said, that's probably 12. But being consistent, I don't, just because I got this new channel, I don't remove the other channels. I still do my scraping, I still do my bandit signs, my door hangers, my stickers, everything, my GMBs, my websites, everything's still active, because I know that's how if you're only gonna get one deal from one avenue, have 14 avenues so you can get one deal from all of them, and you have 14 deals. And if your average deal, now when I'm closing on these deals, I increased my spread by almost 10K. So instead of doing a straight assignment, if I close on it and I list it, what they say, that's like novation. The best buyers are on the MLS, even the cash buyers, because when you have a property to assign and you just shoot it to your buyers, there's some buyers out there that you don't know of, and they might pay you more, especially the new buyers. One of the things that I learned from one of the ladies here locally, she told me how she made her first deal. She had a deal, it was kind of thin, so when she shot it to an investor, I think she was at 100 purchase price, and she wanted to sell it for 110. The investor said that he needed to be at 100, so she basically killing her assignment fee. And then she said, I just went to the local RIA and I offered it at 110, and I got a buyer at 110. Why? Because she got a new investor that was barely getting into the business. Those are the best buyers. Those are the buyers that are going to pay you the most, because they're new into the business. they're not that they're not as savvy, but they're not as greedy. They're okay making 5K. A seasoned investor needs to make a minimum of, let's say 15, 20K to make his business work. So that's one thing that I learned from that lady. So when I buy them and I listen to them less, either I pay them all completely or I pay their equity, and I list in the MLS, I get a much better traction on it. That's happened to a couple of properties here where I've been from. So that works for me. Some of them I assign if I get a quick, like I say, I'd rather get a quick nickel than a long dime. But sometimes that dime is almost 3 times, so I might as well just buy it and list it. So that was the two. So the strategy for the bandit sign, I pushed her away. She said, no, I don't want, you are 35. Then she came back and gave me 35. We closed on it last week. I'll give her second part today. I'll pay it off and then I'll list it. If this lady gets me a buyer before listing it, I'll have the buyer pay full closing costs and I'll probably make it around 26, 25K. If I do list it, I'll probably have to pay the buyer's agent some commission. I'll probably make 20. So again, it's either around there. But again, that's the transaction to the bandit signs, push her away, came back, closed on it. I'm listing it. I'm giving her priority to sell it for me, giving her 5K if she sells it. If she doesn't sell it, then I'll list it, and then I'll give the buyer's agent whatever she has, whatever she wants for commission as soon as it closes. So yeah, that's the second deal on the bandit sign that I was going to talk about that I've closed today. Let me see what else. I have a couple of deals I wanted to talk to. I just already didn't write them down. So I talked about the Mobby one. Mobby, that's a C buyer that's gonna get ready to close. I wanted to, what's it called? One of the things that I meant to talk to, get a coaching call from Justin is how to deal with the people that say that my cash offer is too low. Again, I know how to bat those, but I always want to hear other people's perspective as how they handle where the cash offer is too low, but not the lease option, but maybe like a sub 2 or the novation kind of style where we list the property for the owner. I have a spill that I did when I was in San Antonio, but when I wanted to get the call from Justin, I was in San Antonio. So I wanted to use that time to get on a call with him we just couldn't coordinate, get a call with him so I can hear how I'll be the seller. So I know what I've heard from my clients where I talk to, and I want to hear his rebuttal, record it so I can go back and forth back on it and remind myself how to get it done. So yeah, that's the one thing that I got to talk with Justin is get on a call so I can hear how he shoots the seller, not a cash offer, but a JV, either paying the equity or doing an ovation kind of style in our area. I don't do lease options. I've just never done them. I know he's done them more than me. He's way more savvy. I just don't have, I don't know. I just rather do the sub 2 or the pay the equity from the seller. There's another transaction. I don't know if I mentioned it to you guys. This 3-acre transaction. So I had this guy, this lead came from an SEO. So I remember I told you guys before, there's a local law firm. When you go to Google and you click on website, you search this law firm, right? Boom, boom. Again, this is a new strategy. This is a good strategy if you guys want to use it. So there's a local real estate law firm in my area. You Google them and it has the GMV, right? Phone number, etc. When you click website, it goes to my website. That deal that I got on Suarez, the street Suarez that I made, I think I made like 50 on that one. That was through the same thing, through an SEO or wrong SEO lead. There's the same thing with this one. So this guy calls me, hey, I'm looking for this law firm. Oh no, this is not a law firm. For some reason, my website's there, but I do real estate. What's going on? He's like, well, I bought this property through an owner finance deal. So they owner finance this property to him. They owner financed it for 47. He gave 37. He gave 10K down. Owner finance for 15 years. Payment is 402. So he makes his down payment. He signs the contract. Of course, he doesn't read it. He signs his contract. He starts building it, and then he brings a house to put there, right? So he moves a house, and there's a 3 acre three acre tract. He puts a house in there, and then when he goes to get the utilities, when he goes to CP&L, which is our local utility people, CP&L or AEP, one of those two. I think it was AEP. AEP comes down to the property to do all the work, and they said, "No, sir, we cannot give you light here." He's like, "What do you mean you can?" Yeah, we can't. You see those power lines here? There's literally they're high, but they're power lines that literally ran parallel through the middle of his lot. So then he told me you can't get light. So you can't get any. You can probably get water, but you won't be able to get light. And he's like, nothing you can do. Like, no, there's no, like, an AEP will not put light there because of whatever rule they have. So then he calls me and he asked me. He calls the Molina because he wanted to sue the lender of that property, that's on the property, because he never told them that you can't put utilities there. So then I was like, send me the contract. Let me see what you signed. And sure enough, in the contract it says that the buyer and seller acknowledge that the house is sold with no warranties, that any faults on the property is the buyer's due diligence, and if he signs this, he waives the due diligence. And I told him, you're pretty much stuck with it, sir. Unfortunately, since you did that, you signed that, and it's let me see if I have it here so I can read it for you guys. So sure enough, they signed that paperwork. So now he's stuck. So he's like, what do I do? That, well, you can't really do anything. You can stop paying it, but you're never gonna have a property there. You're never gonna have light. You can use the house. It's 3 acres. It's humongous as storage. Now that location is between. There's a high area of attraction as far as in my area where a lot of people go to. So that can be like a midway, like a storage. If you want to store cars, if you want to store anything there. But as far as a house, you won't be able to have a house. So he's like, there's something I can do. Like, no, once you sign that, you waive all your rights. And unfortunately, maybe he misled you. He should have told you. He definitely should have told him that you cannot sell. And then when they called him on it, he's like, no, I'm not gonna pay it. Like, you signed it, sir. I got it right here. Huh? Right here. Let me see, guys. I'll show it to you guys and then I'll read it to you guys. So it says, again, and this is in a specific clause that he put on his contract. It says, seller discloses and buyer acknowledges that the seller has no knowledge whatsoever concerning any matters affecting the property, which he does. As you know, he does. He bought it like that. He knew that he can put anything. Buyer acknowledges that he's had sufficient and ample opportunity to fully inspect the property prior to signing this agreement. This property is offered, sold, and accepted by buyer strictly and only as is, where it is, with all its faults. I was like, buyer especially waives any duty otherwise imposed upon seller to disclose facts known. That verbiage was extra because it's bolded. It says, buyer especially waives any duty otherwise imposed upon seller to disclose facts known to the sellers affecting the value of the property, even if material or if not readily observable. So you see, let me see if we can show you that. Where it's bolded. Towards the middle, there we go. Buyer especially waives duty. So he screwed him basically. He screwed him out. He overfinanced it. He knew that this property you couldn't put anything on it, and he sold it. And the buyer signed, an innocent man. Now, can you sue them? Probably. You can probably sue them because it might again. If I'm a lawyer, I'm not gonna do it pro bono. I'm gonna try to get at least 10K in as far as what's called the retainer, just for my expenses. Okay,
Well,
it's
let
gonna
me
be
ask
a,
you this:
go ahead.
was the guy that sold it to him a real estate investor, an investor, or an agent?
An investor.
See, that's the thing. When investors sell something to another investor, you still have to do your due diligence. An agent is held by the real estate commission to disclose, do disclosures and stuff. But if it's a person to person, if I sell you, a pencil and that pencil doesn't work, you had to do your own due diligence before you
Yeah.
bought it. And that's the only thing about investor to investors, quick claim deeds, buying stuff online, kept for cash. I mean, that's just the risk you take. Even with the tax liens that people buy, you
Yep.
have to do your due diligence,
Mhm.
or you can buy this swampland that you can't do nothing with.
Exactly. And unfortunately, like I told him, like you can't, like you can stop paying for it. But now this property, let me see if I have the picture here. The good thing about this property, again, he's screwed. So he's like, what do I do? Well, I was like, you can do two things. You can stop paying it and walk away, take he's paid 10K down and he's paid almost 10 months of payment. So like around 14,000 plus the cost to move his lot to his house in there. Let me show you the house. He had a pretty nice house in there. So he moved this little house in there. It's nice. It's a nice little house, but he paid to move it there, but he can't do anything to it. So then he's like, what can I do? He's like, well, you can do two things. Either just stop or try to sue. Stop paying it, take the loss, or try to sue. But again, if I'm an attorney and I'm looking at what you signed, I'll take the case. I'll make the money, but I'm gonna ask for a 10K retainer. Because I know for a fact as an attorney, I'm gonna lose, but I'll take your money if you want to sue him. So he's like, you know what? Let me do this. Let me look at the property in this area. Let me see if I'll give you something, at least something to you can walk away with. So I saw the property. Let me see. We'll have a picture of that. It's not here. So I saw the property, I saw the area. So that property, there's a 3-acre lot here with light and utilities. And then there's his lot right here in the middle. And then there's another 3-acre lot right here with all the amenities. It's just that through that line where let me show you so you can have a picture of it. Where the lights come through, he can't build anything there. So there's like, let me see if I can talk to the neighbor on the left or the neighbor on the right and sell it to them. Hey neighbor, I can owner finance this property for 60K for 30 years. So you already have the utilities on your lot. So just buy another 3 lots and now you have a 6-acre lot. Owner finance, $500 for the rest of the contract. And you get to increase, there we go. Here we go. So the pin in the middle, that's his lot. You see there's a lot on the left and there's a lot on the right. So I was like, maybe you can just offer it to the guy on the left or the guy on the right. So that's going to be my strategy so that they can make their lot from, I think it's either a 4-acre lot to a 7-acre or from a 3-acre to a 6, knowing that they already have the amenities on this one and they can just buy it as for making people like to show up. Oh, I have a 5-acre lot. That's where I'm shooting for. So hopefully everything comes back clean and I'm going to give this guy 5K to walk away, and I'll take over the payments, which is like 402 a month. So if I can sell it for 60 at 602 a month, I make 200, and I'll probably make what 30 in equity plus an extra in interest. Let's say what double. So I'll make like 90,000 on this deal long term. But yeah, so that was the story with this guy. Poor guy. He got screwed out of his 10K and out of the 4K of payments. He can't really do anything. You can sue him, an attorney will take your money, but then I'm already in the whole 14K. I'm gonna be in the whole 24K on a hope that I can sue this guy and get my money back. It's a big hope to do. So that's the second deal, and that one came through an SEO. He called the local law firm. He clicked my website and he went to my number, and then I picked it up. It's just crazy how that works. So if you're in a local, if there's Google real estate attorneys, and there's no link to any websites, suggest your website, and then people call you. again, I already got 2 deals out of this property, out of that missed SEO, that where what's it called? I was able to help him out, not pay for the attorney fee to explain because I'm pretty sure the attorney is gonna charge him at least $300 to read the contract. So like, let me read the contract. You signed it, sir. Unfortunately, I'm saving you the $300, and I'm giving you an out. 5K. Now they're gonna move their house. I think it was this Sunday. I spoke to a lady earlier this week. So as soon as, because I wanted them to move everything, have everything emptied out, and then so I can give her the 5K and then just do my thing with that property. But it's crazy. I see it works. So like in my area, let's see if I can search real quick. Let me see. It works. Let me see. San Antonio attorney, real estate attorney. So let's see. Screen. So you see right here, there's a couple of attorneys, but go to the bottom ones, and let's click on the website. So he has a website. Look for the ones that don't have a website, and then do a suggestion. Let's see, like this one. You see, this one doesn't have a website. You see, there's nothing here, and you can do suggestions. Let me see, where is it? There's a way to suggest photos, share. I don't remember where it was, because I know if there's no phone number, I can suggest a phone number. More or say, I have no idea. Reviews, most relevant, no. Overview. Wow, there's a way. I know there's a way to suggest a website. Let's see. How do I add SGMB? Can I link what's it to a Google business? You can connect your existing Google business before you do. Do you need access? How do I list that? I don't know, but there's a way, because I didn't put my website and that guy's GMB, the one that I'm telling you about, and I've been getting called. So I know for a fact you can suggest a website to somebody, and then if no one sees,
what would make them not have a phone number though?
Some people, they just do it. They have address.
Wow.
Yeah, and you can suggest on the phone number. That one I can do it. That one I know you can suggest the phone number. Let me see. Directions. Because mind you, there's some old businesses, they don't care about what's it called, the SEO stuff.
Yeah, a lot of the older businesses with older owners, they don't know about that internet stuff, so I guess they just miss out.
Yeah, exactly. Let me see if I can do this or not. Updates, overview. There has to be a way. I know there's a way. I just gotta have more. I have time to break down. But again, I have 2 deals from that error that somebody did for me. Put my website there, and I'm getting deals from that property, from that SEO.
Who do you use for your website? You using Carrot?
No, I'm actually what I did. So again, I try to. If you know me, I'm real frugal with my money. So what I did, I went to the top markets. I went to San Antonio, I went to Houston, and I went to Dallas, in my area in Texas, and I searched I buy houses, San Antonio. So then I looked at the top research, at the top non-sponsored websites. Sorry, right? So then what I did, I went to the website. I know how to create. I'm kind of savvy with creating websites. It's not that hard. So then I went to this websites, and then I copied all their script. Right? and then I created a website on Outright Reply. And then I just chopped up their script, and then I search Control F for San Antonio, replace it with my area. Replace it with my area. Because I know these websites, their copy is getting hits on, they're on the first page of Google without being, I know they get some backlinking, etc., but at least their copy is good. So right now, again, let me see if I can show you guys. I have, how many websites do I have? Like, mind you, the first year is going to be cheap for the websites because you probably pay like $1 for the year. The second year is going to be, I pay like around $700 for the year in the websites because I have several. Settings, domains. I have, how many domains do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14. It's a lot of them. It's a lot. It's probably like 37, 38 domains that I have. Right now, this is what I did. So let's say my Metroplex, where I'm from, it consists of 10 cities, right? So then I have I buy city, I buy houses, and then the city. So I have 10 of those, of the original ones, right? I buy houses city.com. And then I did we buy city, we buy houses city.com. So that's 20. And then I have compro casas city.com. So I have 30 websites just like that. And then I have my home relief program, for which is my foreclosure websites. That was another one. And I have the, what's it called? I have the Free Notary Public website that I have. And I have some other ones scattered there on there. But those are the main ones. So in my area, there's 10 cities. So I have a We Buy, I have an I Buy, and I have a Compro. So I have 30 websites like that. And it's basically the same copy, just in Spanish. For the We Buy and the I Buy, the only thing that changes is the we to the I. And for the Spanish, you have to do a whole everything in Spanish. Now, one of the things on the pictures itself, when you add the pictures, like these pictures are meta tagged, right? So let's say I wanted to get a picture from San Antonio. I want to get a picture from a San Antonio house. I go to Google and I ask Google, send me a picture of San Antonio. I put San Antonio house, and it pulls up a lot of pictures from San Antonio. And then I download that picture and then I upload it to my Google because I want Google to recognize that house as a house from San Antonio. If I want a house from New Braunfels, I go New Braunfels house, and then I get a picture like that because I want the meta tag to be like that. So that's the way that it increased my SEO. So now now all these 30 websites have my phone number, the same phone number. So if you search my phone number in my area, you have like 60 hits of different things. We Buy, I Buy, my Facebook, my YouTube. And that's how, and that's this phone number, this phone. That's why I don't like to change my bandit signs matches that phone. My Gmail, my GMB matches that phone. I have 5 GMBs. My websites match that phone. Everything that I have matches that phone. And I have 7 numbers on Right Reply. But again, I try to keep the SEO. I'm not gonna remove because that phone number is SEO. All these people, the reason why I know there were new wholesalers, like in the 2020, 2019, 2021, because what I'll do, I'll take a picture of their bandit sign and then I Google their number and nothing comes up. So one of the strategies that I did when they say, oh, I recalled another bandit sign, oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Again, there's a lot of investors that usually pay the same price, but make sure you Google them to make sure they're solid. And sure enough, when you Google those numbers, they're people that don't have their GMBs. Their numbers not Googleable. Nothing comes up. So that kind of it's an advantage to me for my SEO working so much for me, and I've had it for 4 years already. So it's just consistently. My designs, my stickers, my door hangers, my websites, my YouTubes, everything has. So when I do a YouTube upload, it has all my 30 websites in the copy, and it has my number in the copy, and that one gets uploaded once a week. So again, it keeps on refreshing. So it's just all linked up together. Again, remember, mind you can never stop marketing. You guys always have to be marketable. As far as, and once you have a solid number, don't change it. Like I haven't had an issue with it. when they call me from the bandit signs, the city has called me to remove them. I tell them, hey, this is where the guts comes in. He's like, yeah, is this you've been putting bandit signs? Well, sir, I'm just an answering company. What happened? Oh, whoa, your boss put a sign over here, it's illegal, whatever. Okay, well, can you send me a text with your name, your email, and I'll make sure I forward it to him. And then as soon as we hang up, I just block the number. Because again, I'm the answering company. I'm not, when like I always tell people, never be the boss, because then the boss is where the responsibility ends. So I always be an employee, especially like that. When the city calls me, I got like people heard me like, hey, the city's calling you. Hey, I'm just an answering company. The same thing, the same strategy that I use when I do the guerrilla marketing for vacant houses that I can't get a hold of them, that I put a for sale by owner sign. When they call me, you get two kind of calls. It'll be either people that they want to give you an offer, or the actual owner. So if it's someone giving you the offer, perfect. How much will you give once it's ready and available to buy? So 30, 40, 50K, whatever. Once it's the actual owner that he gets upset, why the F you listing my property? Well, sir, like I'm telling you, I'm just the answering company. Again, I already have your number. Thank you for calling me. I'll go ahead and patch it over to my boss. I'll make sure that he calls you to explain what's going on. Well, why are you doing this? Like I was telling you, sir, I'm just the answering company. Again, I got hired through Facebook to answer calls about this property. So you see how just keep composed and relax. You already have the number for the property that you've been looking for. Now you can do two things. You can either call them and tell them you apologize that you did that, or just call them for like a brand new client. And now they don't even know, oh, who gave you this number? Hey, I Googled it I did it on Google. It was there. So you see how the guerrilla marketing works. And you knowing how to answer the call works as well. Stay composed. I'm just the answering company. And don't tell me anything. I put my McDonald's employee hat on, because I was a McDonald's employee. Hey, I don't know. I just do the burgers here. Why did I fall in the restroom? I don't know. I just flipped the burgers here. So again, you stay with that, and people understand. The same thing that I use when I knock on doors is like, hey, wanted to see if you want to sell your house. Well, who sent you? My boss. Well, who's your boss? I don't know. It's this guy Alex. He hired me from Facebook. I was like, who told you my boss? My property was for sale? I don't know. I was just paid to come and knock on this door. I was unemployed, and now I'm employed. I apologize. And they feel you humanize yourself, and they feel for you. Okay, I'm not gonna be shitting on this guy. He's just working. And if they say yes, they'll patch it over to me. And if they say no, thank you. We'll go on to the next property. But again, that works. That mentality works if you know how to use it and maximize it so that you won't get in. You get in trouble. A lot of people they get shy. Oh, they're gonna tell me I'm the boss. I was being employed. And you never get what's called nervous or anything. Even when I do cold calls, the same thing. Again, I'm using the same strategy for the cold calls. When I used to do my own cold calls and how I train my cold caller to do, hey, sir, did you get the letter? Like, what letter are you talking about? Yeah, it was a green letter that was sent to you about it. You were interested in seeing an offer. Who told you? Is that your house on 123 Main Street? Yeah. Did you speak to my boss, Robert? He's like, no. Well, Robert told me to call you. Well, who's Robert? Well, so like I was telling Robert's my boss. He hired me to call you. If you're interested in selling, I'll go ahead and send you the patch into him. If not, I apologize for that. But you see, don't shed on me. I'm just an employee making a call. I'm just an employee calling you because I had to get a job because I got fired. Especially through the COVID, I used that COVID where a lot of people got unemployed to use it as leverage to tell them, hey, you know what? I just got fired, and this guy hired me, no experience needed. I'm not gonna take that out. I might have. He told me that they might telling me why you're calling me. I just got hired to ask you a question. If it's a yes, send them over. If it's a no, send them this way. If you want some information about who's sending you, send them this way. If you're not, just hang up. So that's the mentality that I use for everything, and that's how I was able to mentally unlock my nervousness, because it's nerve-wracking when you haven't done cold calls and you're doing your first cold call. Like, I'm real nervous. Put yourself in the mentality that you're just a telemarketer following up on an appointment. Hey, Mr. X, yeah, did you get that letter that we sent you? What letter? It was a green envelope about that house on Main Street. What are you talking about? Yes, you spoke to my boss, Robert. He said that you were interested in an offer for that house on 130 Main Street. Who is Robert? Like, they're asking all this who. They're hearing you. He's like, yeah. Did you talk to Robert? No. Is that your house? Yes. Okay. What happened is that my boss, Robert, mailed the letter to this house, and somebody told them that they might be interested in seeing an offer for this property. Well, tell Robert, okay, perfect, man, don't get upset at me. I'm just doing the follow-up. I'm not doing anything else. And then, okay, so then you see, I was able to, what's called mentally unlock that, not to be nervous anymore. I'm just the follow, I'm not the boss. I just got hired. If I don't work, I don't feed my family. I just got hired $10 an hour to call these people to ask them these specific questions. And simple as that. Like I tell people that I train, that's the way you overcome the nervousness of doing cold calls. Like that, you're just doing a follow-up on an appointment. You mailed the letter, did you get it? No. Is that your house? Yes. Poof, you got a yes. Okay, my boss, Robert, do you know about him? No. Okay, Robert said that he emailed you a letter to that house. Maybe you didn't get it, maybe you got it. The letter said that it's asking to see if you're interested in seeing an offer. If yes, I'll go ahead and put Robert on the line. If no, I'll go ahead and hang up the call. Who's Robert? My boss. Who sent you? My boss. How did my boss got my number? I don't know. My boss just gave me the number. Again, you're asking me a lot of questions that are above me, sir. I only get paid $10 the hour. You see, and that's the way you're just batting their objections or their what's it called, their attacks to you. And I'm just an employee, sir. I apologize. Again, I would feel the same way if someone called me out of the blue. But also I see myself, again, I'm just working. I'm just doing my job. I'm not asking for anything. I'm just doing my job. They told me to call this 10 numbers and ask this 3 questions, and that's it. I'm doing that all day, even if you get upset at me. And you see, that I was able to overcome that. And that's what I taught my VA. When you call my VA, when you do my cold calls, just ask that. Any other questions that you don't know? Well, I don't know. I can ask my boss. I can put them on the phone. And that helps her do the cold calls smoothly without her being nervous of, oh, I don't know this question. If you don't know that question, the answer to the question, just tell them my boss has the answer. I'll patch him over if you're interested in selling. If you're not interested in selling, he tells me not to waste your time. And don't patch the call. All right, guys. It's been pretty good. Thank you for staying with us, Tasha. Everybody on YouTube, I don't know. I get sometimes I go back on Facebook and I see questions like, oh, I don't know how that works. I don't know how to work. I click live and that's it. So yeah, if you have any other questions before I hang up, if not, again, you're in the group, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I'm in the group.
Ask any questions there. Again, stay consistent. Again, the C buyer leads, I'm there. I'm already in the 4th month. So that's around 12, that's around $1,600. I made that deal, the big one. I have now another one coming for 15K. So it works. I still have the bandit signs. I'm gonna start putting bandit signs tonight because I stopped because I got sick from my back. Oh, I had a soccer game. You guys see that? We won another trophy.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. So yeah, it's been a couple of hectic weeks, especially without putting bandit signs. And I feel bad because like, oh, I see bandit signs here. Like I need to go put but I'm better now and I'm gonna be able to put bandit signs. Stay consistent. Always follow-ups always going to be key to make things work in life. As far as that, do a follow-up, be consistent. And again, if you don't have any other questions, again, let's wrap it up. And I'll be here next week. I know I apologize for the last 3 weeks. I haven't been live, but I'll make sure I'll be here next week as well.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Be safe, man.